Hello, and welcome back to the Witch's Brew. This week, we are talking about what I did in Salem. Last week, I posted the Salem haul. It's actually been probably a week or maybe a week and a half since I filmed that. And I already have bought so many more things online at those shops. I guess I have a problem. But now we are talking about what we did. We'll go day by day. I will preface this by saying that I was a terrible content creator and forgot to get quite a bit of footage that, in retrospect, I would have loved to have gotten. We spent, let's see, sorry, I'm looking at my notes over here. We spent 3 full days in Massachusetts. I will say, before we got there, we didn't do a ton of research, which honestly I kind of loved. That's kind of what I needed. I grew up taking vacations with my mom, who is, love her dearly, but she is a planner, and it feels like every single minute is planned out on vacation with her. Love her. I digress. But I really, especially being pregnant, I actually turned 20 weeks pregnant on our second full day there. So not even just a little bit pregnant, but like quite pregnant, and like toddler at home. I really needed a chill vacation, and that is exactly what I got. You can do as much or as little planning going into this as you want. My mom is going to Salem in September, and you can bet your bottom dollar that she already has all of her tours booked and trolley passes bought and all of that. But yeah, let's go ahead and let's get into it. Obviously, there are so many things to do in Salem, so we'll just start off with that. I know I said it in my haul. I'm going to say it again. Not all of them feel authentic. There are quite a few shops and things that just feel more guided towards tourists. So if that's something you're looking for, great. If it's not, chances are, if you are watching this video, it's probably not. Just kind of let your intuition guide you, is what I'll say. Because I don't want to be on here and be like, oh, like this shop was terrible and blah, 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 blah. I'm not going to do that. Let your intuition guide you, is what I'll say. So we stayed at the Cove, which is just like a 5 to 7 minute drive from Essex Street. They have themed rooms, which we did not want. Their actual hotel rooms, though, are gorgeous. And again, this is something I wish I would have gotten footage of, but typical for us, we got into the hotel room and spread out immediately. Our stuff was all over the place. They have this beautiful gaming room, though, that's open most of the day, where you can get ice. They have games. They have, I think, a foosball, maybe like a tabletop shuffleboard too, as well as different snacks. They also have a really big outdoor seating area that has like swing chairs. It has fire pits. It has grills. The customer service was amazing. Our bathroom, like that is one of, I've stayed in quite a few hotels. That is one of my favorite bathrooms. The shower had like a cute little built-in shelf in there with a light. It had like heated vents. The mirror also had a function where you could like heat it up and it wouldn't get foggy. It was so wonderful. And the mirror was also big enough for at least two people, if not, probably you could probably do three if you squeezed a little bit, but at least two people to get ready at the same time, which was amazing. So we checked in. Check-in process was super easy. I pre-checked in online, so we were able to just walk in, and within less than 5 minutes, we had all of our information, and we had already started dropping stuff off in our hotel room, which was amazing. We kind of wanted to get going pretty quickly. I had been in the car for like over 2 days at that point because I broke my drive up into two, and Corey had been on a flight for quite a long time. So we just were raring to go. So we went downtown. There's a parking garage. It's a couple blocks down from the wharf. We parked there and started walking, and we stopped at Lapel de Vide, Pumpkin and Gray. We also stopped at Pentagram, and we're just kind of walking along. And that is not those shops. If you were to look at a map on Salem, those are not on the main drag. So, but we didn't know that because, like I said, we didn't do any research. So we kind of got to the end of that strip over by the firehouse, and we're like, oh, is that it? And Corey spotted this really cute little artist market. And she's like, well, let's go explore there. And that we kind of walked through that, and it dropped us off kind of right in the center of everything. If you're not familiar with New England, which honestly I wasn't, growing up, we usually took tropical vacations, so not at all the vibe of New England. But it is a very New England setup where it's kind of a maze. My friend, who is really good with directions, typically had a really hard time like orienting herself as to like which street she was on and where she was. We ate dinner at the Lobster Shanty. It was small little shack. Again, I wish I would have gotten some footage of this. I was just honestly really tired. Corey had the clam chowder and the baked lobster. She's a seafood person. I am not. She said that it was absolutely delicious. She said it was one of her favorite clam chowders. I had the Guinness marinated steak tips with tater tots. That was also very good. It was cool enough. Again, we went late June, so it was cool enough where we could sit outside. It was slightly drizzly. There was a farmer's market going on, and it was just absolutely the vibe that we needed to get this trip off to the right start. Honestly, based on the amount of food that I tried at Salem, the amount of restaurants we went to, there's not many places where you can go wrong. We ended up walking around a little bit. We had dessert at this place called Whimsy's, which I mentioned before in my previous video. The back was set up like an ice cream and sweet shop. I had the s'mores ice cream, and it was amazing. I have been craving it ever since, and I cannot find anything close to it. Corey had the Maine Black Bear, which I think she said was like raspberry and chocolate. She said it was absolutely delicious. And we also got some chocolate truffles to go. I got the caramel and raspberry. Corey got the coffee, and she also got a salted caramel truffle. And we had a fridge in our room at the Cove, so we stuck those in the fridge and we kind of parsed those out over a couple days. The next day was our first full day, so that was the 27th of June. We did coffee and breakfast at this little place called Crave. It is across the river. It is not in downtown Salem, but I highly, highly recommend this place. The breakfast sandwich was amazing. I had an iced caramel latte, and then I got a bacon, egg, and cheese breakfast sandwich, and I got mine on a gluten-free herb and cheese bread. The bread was pretty crumbly because gluten-free stuff usually is, but it was delicious. And honestly, I'm not a gluten-free person. The herb and cheese just sounded really good. I'm so glad that I got it. Corey had just a regular hot coffee. She drinks her coffee black. And she had a bacon, egg, and cheese on a brioche bun. She said it again, it was amazing. I think they had a bunch of different aiolis that you could put on there. They had breakfast top bowls. I would highly recommend it. They have outdoor seating, or you can take it to go. But I have not stopped thinking about that breakfast sandwich. That day was mostly for shopping and exploring. We parked in that same parking garage. And in order to get to Essex Street, which is the main shopping place, we wanted to really see the Witch Trials Memorial. It's, as a psychic medium, it was honestly like I'm even getting emotional, like even talking about it. Just like the amount, once you cross the threshold of that memorial, once you get close to the cemetery, which, they're not buried there, but once you get into that space, it is just very, very emotional. I also have done work with Sarah Good, which was one of the convicted. So yeah, seeing her plaque was just, I'm tearing up just talking about it. It was just very emotional. And honestly, those are probably her emotions that I'm feeling. Also, I'm pregnant, so I will just cry at anything, I guess. Whew. Now, I will say, unfortunately, when we were there, the cemetery was closed for grounds work, which is a shame. That is something that I really, really, really wanted to see. Just like take a chance to walk through the cemetery. The tour that we went on later that day gave us some amazing insight about the cemetery. Like it's a really small space. There are thousands and thousands of people buried there. And you would never know. We'll talk about the tour later. We also there's a welcome center right next door. It's a historic home, has a lot of really great information about the trials, about funerals, about kind of how things worked at that time. Then after that, we went shopping on Essex Street. We bought so many things. Because we had a big breakfast at Crave, we wanted something smaller for lunch. So we ended up eating lunch at a restaurant called Ginger. We had the pork gyoza dumplings and the shumai dumplings as well. They were very good, great for something light. Again, they have an outdoor patio. It was a beautiful day to just sit outside, enjoy each other's company. Corey also had a champagne cocktail. I was sipping on water, which was also enjoyable. Um, again, then we did more shopping. We ended up getting a little overwhelmed. Just like there are a lot of things to see, there are a lot of people, and the shops are also like packed with things, which is great because you have a great selection. But if you are someone who gets overstimulated, you might want to plan on some downtime, because after we ate lunch at Ginger, we did a little bit more shopping around. But by the time it hit 2 o'clock, we were both like, I am done. I am overstimulated. I need to get out of here. And we just chilled and chatted at the hotel, which was honestly perfect. Like I said, this was a very chill vacation for both of us, and exactly what we needed. We had dinner reservations at Finn's for that night. It is a very nice restaurant down at the wharf. I would say some people were dressed in like casual attire, like jeans and a blouse or some sort of nicer top. If you're wondering what kind of dress it was, Corey had a wine flight. She also had fresh oysters. And then for her main dish, she did, I'm reading my notes here, sorry. She had a sea scallop dish with mushrooms, asparagus, in a white wine sauce topped with fried leeks. Pregnant person over here, I can smell everything. It smelled really good. I would not taste it because of the sea scallops. Again, not a seafood person. But like I said, looked good. I had the peach pie mocktail, which was very good. And then I also had a filet mignon with smashed chipotle potatoes. There was a red pepper chimichurri sauce, and there was a demi glaze on top of the filet mignon with crispy plantains. And it was delicious. Every single part of that was delicious. I'm a steak person, so I have tried a lot of different steaks. That is definitely in one of the top 10 steaks I've tried. Honestly, I would probably say top 5. So, highly recommend. Also, it's really nice. You can have, depending on what time of year you go, you can have dinner right out on the patio overlooking the water. We were watching ships and boats come in. It was just really nice. I will say service, very honest, service was a little slow. We did not have dessert there because we had to, again, service was on the slow side, and we had a tour that started at a certain time. And I'm just realizing now as I'm reading my notes that I forgot to put the name of the tour company. So Chris will put that right here for you guys. Thank you, Chris. But we did a walking night tour. Again, summer, so it was right after the solstice, so it didn't really start at night, but it ended at night. And our tour guide, his name is Bobby, our tour guide's name is Bobby, and he was phenomenal. I told Corey when we were booking the tour, something I was kind of worried about was just getting a cruddy tour and getting a cruddy tour guide. And she said, well, the nice thing about a walking tour is that you can simply walk away, which is fair. But no, Bobby he nailed it. He was funny. he really knew his stuff, which I guess as a tour guide you really have to. Um, but he really, really knew all of his stuff. He was really passionate about the history of Salem. He was really personable. You could tell that he just really loved doing this and giving the tours. Um, I I really could not recommend him more. This was like a haunted historic tour. It was less about the ghosts, which honestly, that's kind of what I was worried about as a psychic medium. I'm like, I don't want to hear about all of the ghosts. I want to like kind of go and get the history. And it's fine if like ghosts are sprinkled in there. But honestly, it was mostly about the history. And then he would sprinkle in ghostly information um, as he was going. Like it was more of like a here is the spot. This is what happened here. And because of that, that's why this place is haunted now. Um, he was really great. When we got to the cemetery, because it was all walking around downtown Salem, they have like, if you're looking for Hocus Pocus, they have specific Hocus Pocus tours. This was not one of those, although he did point out one spot where there was a filming location. I would highly recommend this tour company though. After that, because you end right back where you start, and it started right down the street from the old Main Street pub. I was in the mood for a dessert at that point. So we split a sticky toffee pudding, and our server actually informed us that there was a place right down the street, like maybe a block, called Goodnight Fatties that had delicious cookies. So of course we went there. Um, we ended up getting the Pride cookie, which was a sugar cookie with a lemon cheesecake filling, and then we got a chocolate cookie with a molten chocolate center. They serve their cookies warm. I will say they're about like this big. They're pretty thick. Um, we did not eat ours right away. It was one of those things where like I really want to try this, but I don't think my pregnancy heartburn would like that much sugar right now. So we got it and we tried them later, and they were still absolutely amazing. Would highly recommend. Cute little patio seating area too. All right, our second full day was very drizzly. Honestly, we lucked out with the weather. It was kind of the perfect, like the most ideal weather to be walking around Salem. And I know that's a little crazy considering I just said like it was drizzly. It was also chilly, but it gave like perfect fall vibes. We ended up grabbing coffee at Black Craft Coffee, which I feel like on Instagram you see all over the place when people are talking about Salem. I had an iced Spellbound latte, which is a pumpkin latte, perfect fall vibes. So they serve a pumpkin latte year round if you really want that fall vibe like I did. And Corey had the Good Witch latte, which was red velvet, which I was kind of surprised about because she does not like sweet coffee. That was pretty sweet. Both were very good though. The inside of that place is just honestly just very Instagrammable. I needed to grab a couple things at Coven's Cottage, Whimsies, and Nocturne as well. So we kind of bounced around a couple shops. There was a very cute market set up for Pride. I ended up buying that body oil from Conjured Soap Company. And because it was so chilly and drizzly, we ended up at O'Neill's Irish Pub for lunch, where we both had the shepherd's pie. If you're familiar with the difference between shepherd's pie and cottage pie, this was really a cottage pie. Um, but it was so good. Um, the gravy in the beef was just so flavorful, and the mashed potatoes on top were just perfectly done. And there was a real thick layer of cheese on top too. Um, maybe not what you would want for if it were 90 degrees, but it was like 66 maybe and raining. So it was perfect. And we were able, from where we were sitting, we were able to watch most of the Pride Parade. And then we went out and caught the end of that as well, which we went sightseeing. So we first stopped at the location where they filmed Allison's house for Hocus Pocus. I will say that street is like residential parking only, so you might want to search around for actual places to park. But every year they decorate it just like, sorry, let me rewind. Every year the owners of Allison's house, which is the Peabody Essex Museum, they decorate the house just like it was for Hocus Pocus, which I think is really cool. I would love to see that someday. When we went, again, it was June, so right down the street, like not even, I don't know, I'm bad with estimating. Anyway, right down the street was the Witch House, which is the former house of trial Judge Jonathan Corwin and his family. And this is where we had our first like spirit encounter of the day. You can pay, I think it's like $6 or something, to take a tour of it. It is, I mean, it's set up exactly how it was. They have a lot of really great information. Again, this is trial judge, so however you feel about that. But on the second floor, we were the only ones up there. And the Corwins had a minimum of 8 children. So a lot of children. And we were in the children's bedroom, which is a really good sized bedroom for like 1 or 2 kids, but for 8, very small. But yeah, we were on the second floor bedroom, and we were reading information on a poster. Out of the corner of my eye, I see a woman in white walk into the room with us. At the same time, Corey and I inch closer, which means like closer to what we were reading, which means like Corey also felt like someone else was in the room with us. Not even 30 seconds after we did that, I looked back and there was no one there. This is a small room, so there was nowhere else for this woman to go. And I said out loud, I was like, oh, that's weird. I thought someone was in here with us. And Corey was still reading, and she kind of turned her head and she's like, oh, that's really strange. I could have sworn someone was in here with us. I felt them walk in. So that was the first experience. We next went to Proctor's Ledge Memorial, which is the site where the hanging tree used to be. It's a bit of a drive. I'll say that. I think it is worth seeing. There is definitely a heavy feeling. I'm very sensitive, and as soon as I opened the car door, I like almost burst into tears. Like there is just such heavy emotion clinging to that land. So again, if you are sensitive, intuitive, empathic, just beware. This is a place that I really wanted to see though. So I'm very glad that we went to go see it. Now this is where we had our second encounter of the day. And as I was filming the footage of the memorial, Corey felt something touch her ankle, and where she felt it was standing right in front of Bridget Bishop's stone. So yeah, she got touched. I will say, out of all of the stones there, Bridget's was the one where I was like, there's something else here. It's not just the two of us. And we left shortly after that because Corey was like, I would like to not get touched again, which, fair. I also didn't want to get touched. Next, we stopped at the Stardust shop. We also went, I didn't put it on my notes, but there's like this little pioneer village that's like a 15-minute or less drive from Salem. It's in a park. You do have to pay to get in, but that is where they filmed that opening scene. And you can see Binks's house. You cannot go into that house because people take advantage of that. But you can at least like take a look around. I thought it was cool. It was a cute little space. And then if you want, you can take a walk around the park or whatever. Is it a must-see spot? If you're a very big Hocus Pocus fan, maybe. And after that, we went back to the main part of Salem. We had afternoon tea at the Jolie Tea Company. We just wanted something nice and warm and cozy and a nice place to just sit and chat and enjoy each other's company. Corey had one of their many Earl Grey teas. Neither her or I could remember which one it was. And she also had finger sandwiches and a scone. I had the pixie dust herbal tea. I also ended up getting 3 macarons. I got the honey lavender, the Earl Grey, and the raspberry. All were very good. I would say the honey lavender was probably my favorite. It's just, if you like tea, it's a very pretty place to go grab tea and a cute little bite to eat. After that, we walked along the wharf. Which was, again, something that I wanted to do. I just wanted to be by water. I live in Ohio, so there's not a lot of water around here, that like large bodies of water that I can just go to. And she lives in Colorado, so same with her. But yeah, we walked along the wharf, chatted. Again, just perfect weather. And then we had dinner at the Tipsy Cowboy Country Dive, which I told my husband, and he said, that's a little out of left field. Don't think I would want to go there. It was fun. We enjoyed ourselves. Corey had a coconut mojito. I had the Nashville, and then we split. The Nashville loaded nachos, the loaded bacon cheesy tots, and the fried hot honey Brussels sprouts. Those are all on their appetizer list. We would have been fine with 2 of those. Like, honestly, I think all of that would have been great for like 3 or even 4 people. They also have a giant pretzel that's like 2 pounds of pretzel. Um, Honestly, just a cute little fun spot. It kind of comes up at you out of nowhere. It looks like it's in an office building, but cute, fun spot. The service was really good. But keep in mind, like, it is kind of a bar situation. So if you're looking for something maybe not as loud, you might want to request a seat towards the back. Our third and final full day, we had appointments booked at the Mossy Apothecary, which I'm very excited about. We checked out of the Cove, had brunch at the Ledger restaurant, which is right off of Essex Street. Really, really good brunch. We were looking at their menu for both dinner and for brunch, and we decided their brunch sounded better to us. Corey had coffee, and she had one of their daily special cocktails. I can't remember which one she had. It had something with ginger in it. She said it was really good. And she also had an Eggs Benedict with pork belly on it. I kid you not, the Eggs Benedict was like that big. It was giant. They also brought us over like a sample of their donut holes, which were amazing. I had the Luxardo cherry hibiscus mocktail. I also did a hot latte, and to eat, I had the croque madame. And the croque madame was about like this thick. It was really amazing, and I have been thinking about that croque madame since. I actually requested that my husband make me a croque madame sometime within the next week. We then drove to the Mossy Apothecary. Now, if you are staying in Salem, the Mossy Apothecary is about a 2.5 hour drive. So keep that in mind. Corey was flying out the next day, but we knew that after we did our spa appointment, we would not want to drive back to Salem. She had hotel points, so we ended up staying a little bit closer, like a half an hour-ish closer, in Springfield, Massachusetts. And we'll talk about that hotel in a little bit. But Mossy Apothecary was great. I will, again, completely honest and transparent here. We both, at different points, reached out to them through email and through Instagram. Corey said that she got a better response via Instagram than she did email. I only tried email, but their communication is not great. I will say that, again, completely honest. But honestly, their services were really, really nice. I've been not looking forward to having to say this. We did the Ayurvedic reset. Chris, can you put that right there, please? Which included time on their heat therapy gem mats, a full body massage with targeted hot stone, an herbal face treatment, a scalp treatment, and a foot soak. And also included a seasonal alcoholic beverage or a mocktail. It was 2.5 hours long. We had the whole space to ourselves. It was just absolutely gorgeous. It was very much needed. I will say because they provide like heavy black bathrobes and like thick fuzzy black socks, which I feel like would be perfect for non-summer days. The day that was like the hottest day that we had in our days there. Um, it was almost 90 degrees out, and the bathrobe was a little toasty at times. I will say they only do parties of 2 or more. So be be mindful that when you get ready to do your massage, like, it is not individual rooms. Like, you don't each get your own room. You are doing them together in the same room. You can get as undressed as you want. I will say I have known Corey since we were in 6th grade, and we're in our early 30s now. So we've known each other a long time. So we had no problem. But if you are not ready to move to that phase of friendship with someone, keep that into consideration. You might want to talk about that first. Now, I will say, when you put in the address into your GPS, the building itself that the Mossy Apothecary is in is very inconspicuous. Like, it is right next to a giant ice cream shop. Both buildings look the same. They are both red barn-looking buildings. Theirs is the smaller one up front. So, like, we thought that our GPS was wrong, and we had to drive around for a little bit in order to find it. Now, I will say their accommodations were great. I was really worried about, like, pregnancy and massage, because you have to have special accommodations for prenatal, and they ask you right on your intake form if you are pregnant or not, or to list any ailments that you might have. And they were really, really great about complying. That was what my message was about originally when I emailed them twice. Overall, would recommend. After that appointment, we knew we had to drive 25, 30-ish minutes to our hotel, which is the Marriott at MGM Springfield, which we did not realize was a casino, but is. We knew, we're very glad that we didn't make reservations, because we were very tired. We were very relaxed. We were ready to just chill and take a nap, also take a shower. There was a lot of oil, but my hair has just been amazing since. And that was like 2 weeks, like, to the point where I even went out and bought myself hair oil. But anyway, we knew we just wanted something chill. So the workers at Mossy Apothecary, they recommended Red Rose Pizzeria. It was right next to our hotel. We got it margarita style pizza to go. Again, I was too tired to film any content. I'm so sorry, but it tasted great. Their service was excellent. The kitchen actually, like, must have misplaced our order, or something happened to it. And the nonas, the Italian grandmothers inside, were like pissed about it. Like, you could tell, like, someone was getting their head slapped in the back. Like, that's how mad they were about that. And they remade it. Honestly, it was no skin off our nose. We were fine to wait. But the pizza was amazing pizza. I will say, the Marriott at MGM Springfield, the room looked very cool. The beds were very comfortable. The walls were extremely thin. I heard things that I do not feel comfortable talking about on this YouTube channel. We'll just put it there. We'll just leave it at that. There is a reason why the bedside table had earplugs. So just keep that in mind. The only reason we booked it is Corey had points to use up, and that was the hotel that qualified. So that was the rundown of everything we did while we were in Salem and the surrounding area. Did we get to everything that we wanted to do? Honestly, yes. Was there more that we could have done? For sure. But with the amount of time that we had, and honestly creating the vacation that we wanted, this was honestly perfect. So I hope this helps you if you are planning to go to Salem. I hope this helps. I will totally be going again someday. It was fantastic. But yeah, I hope this helps you plan out what you want to do, and I'll see you next week. Bye.